tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. This place is jumping off hard as it can get. No, we won't ever stop dancing on the edge. We like it dangerous, we like to see you split. Turn up another notch, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you something. 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 Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
What is up, everybody? It is TA Tim here, filling in for Crypto Jeb, because this is the day of the month that he goes to a large planning meeting. This man and I were talking about this morning. It's actually kind of coincidental that it seems like every time he has one of these planning meetings, something massive happened right before.
Yeah.
So we got to look more into that. But I am joined today by the producer, Smay. Smay, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, but also something special's happening this stream, so I'm a little nervous, but hopefully this works out for us.
Yes, Jeb will be back tomorrow, but today it is Tim and Smay, but we are still going to give you guys a great show. A lot of stuff to break down, a lot of stuff to talk about, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, what's happening with Bitcoin. Should we actually be concerned, or was yesterday pretty good day? We are joined for the first time ever via Skype by Greg. What, do we have a special name for Greg? Greg Gressick, but I don't know if he has a more special name yet.
Hello, Greg.
What's up, Faith fam? What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Oh, what's up? What's up?
Doing good, Greg. We're glad to have you on the show. But let's go ahead and dive in. Greg is going to be with us throughout the show. He's going to chime in, especially when we get to Cardano. But Greg, be prepared. I'm going to call on you for some Bitcoin news as well. So let's go ahead and move into what we want to talk about again, and that is, let's look at what happened yesterday, and let's be very clear up front. It was not a crash. I need to start by apologizing. I actually made a TikTok video yesterday. If you guys follow the Crypto Jeb TikTok, saying that there was a crash, here's the reasons possibly why. I was wrong. And I woke up this morning, I went and looked at some technical analysis, went and read some articles and fundamental, and after looking at all this, looking at the price action, I was dead wrong. This was not a crash. So, man, let's go ahead and go to my screen. Yep. I'm going to start off with some technical analysis just from that standpoint on why we cannot say this is a crash, but rather probably just a healthy correction. So first and foremost, let me just show you guys the price action. Yesterday, we started around 52,600 and we dropped as low as 43. Now, that is an 18% dip. While that is serious and while that is larger than maybe we would have liked, that is nowhere near the definition of a crash. The truth is, if this had been a green candlestick, as excited as we would be, we also couldn't say this was like the beginning of a massive run and that Bitcoin was hitting the moon, because again, that would just have been a really good rally, a very quick rally, but just a rally. So before we lose our heads for any large green candles or red candles, 18%, if you were short, if you're a bear, great day for you, but this is not the beginning of the end. Actually, I think this could be the beginning of something amazing. One thing I noticed this morning while doing my technical analysis, which I did not do as much as I usually do, because with Jeb out today, I spent a lot more time researching articles, talking with Kelly, which is charismatic in chat. Shout out to Kelly, to plan this stream. However, one of the things I did look at was the daily chart. And I want to start by looking at these Bollinger Bands. So this is actually really, really exciting to me, because yesterday we were overextended on the Bollinger Bands, and with one candlestick we went to the bottom of the bands. Here is the thing. Bollinger Bands measures the volatility, or gives you a range of the volatility that we could see in the market. While we don't traditionally see one candle cover the entire spectrum, it is only covering the spectrum. We didn't drop out and go crazy and stretch this Bollinger Band out ridiculously. We actually just corrected in a healthy way. So that's the first thing we need to realize before we lose our heads about the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just doing what healthy corrections do. That being said, it was probably just a little faster than we would have liked. I want to go ahead and stay on my screen because I want to show you guys something that I utilize almost every single day. Actually, in all reality, I use it every single day. This is a tool that I'm probably going to publish for you guys. Not very special, not very fancy. If you guys want to make your own, that's cool too. But this right here is as simple as it gets, how I make my notes for Bitcoin. So you guys will see whenever I'm commenting, I'm sitting in a seat right over here. Whenever I'm commenting and I'm looking at this note, this is the notes I took throughout the morning to kind of get an indication of what I think the price action is going to be doing. So let's do a couple things. Let's first go look at the RSI and MACD. These are the two that I usually start with looking at. If I don't see a clear formation going, that's the first thing I look for. I go to the RSI, I go to the MACD. We're going to see a bullish trend, a bearish trend. Let's come over here. First of all, let's start with formations. As we said a couple of days ago, this is kind of a rough wedge, ascending wedge. It also could just be a rising trading channel. Either way, a lot of times those break bearish. Now, I didn't think it was going to happen this soon. I thought we were going to go a little bit longer into it before we saw a break out of it, but that's actually what we saw right here. We have a bearish break. I'm going to minimize that. Going to the RSI and the MACD. So clearly right here, we had a fake out a couple days ago where we crossed bullish, which traditionally means we're going up, but then crossed bearish almost immediately. We see these red histograms growing. There's only two of them, so not a whole lot to go on, but that is something we have to be aware of. On the MACD, it is looking a little bearish, but RSI, this is massive, massive bullish divergence. I think there's an afternoon video going up later today that Jeb even talks about this. But just to clarify, I want to show you guys this is bullish. Let me show you guys real quick. If we go back here and look right here on the 4th of August, the bottom right here, we clearly can see an uptrend versus if we do the same thing with the RSI, and Jeb talks about this all the time. We talk about it in CD2A. We see a downtrend. This is a change in direction. This is actually something that I questioned a couple days ago. Are we seeing RSI kind of reset to reload for a massive price rally? If you guys have been watching, you heard me say that. Now, did I think we were going to see a massive red candle yesterday? No, that was not in my prediction on that. I was completely off, did not see that coming. However, we have to always go back. When we see these large price movements, we have to go back. Did anything change? Did things happen exactly the way we wanted it to? Maybe not, but did anything actually fully change? The answer is no. We still see the RSI and this upward momentum of price movement being a bullish sentiment, showing us that we are still heading back towards new all-time highs. So this is something I want to encourage you guys. Nothing has changed. We didn't see those red candles drop below this mark right here of 30. See, that mark is like 38,000, which I've seen some analysts say, oh no, do we need to go back down to 38,000? We didn't see it drop that far. We saw it only come back down to about 43 at the worst, but then in all reality, we bounced right back up to that $46,000 level. This is a massively positive sign for Bitcoin. Let's go back to our notes here and keep moving. Now, moving averages. What I did notice is that we are bouncing. Let me go back to my chart. We are bouncing off of our 50 SMA. Let me go ahead and minimize the rest of these. As you guys can see there, we are still heading for a, what was it right there? We're heading for a golden cross. So that's something that we're still in the works for. But let me go ahead and minimize all of these. Just want to show you the 50. We haven't been bouncing that much off of it, but look where it's crossing with those wicks. It looks like that 50 was a great line of support, something that's really cool. The only thing I will say is we had been utilizing the 20 EMA, so you guys can see right here, this orange one right here. We had been using the 20 EMA as support. You can see we touched it right here on the 1st of September. We touched it right here on the 19th of August. We touched it right here on the 5th of August. We did cross below that. So what I want to see Bitcoin do is regain that price point, that level of support. But for now, we can take comfort in the fact that the 50-day simple moving average is looking like a nice, healthy sign of support. So that to me is still a bullish sign for the overall price of Bitcoin. Going back to my chart, what we have on the VPVR is we are seeing right beneath a key level of 47,500. Let's go back to the chart real quick and let's pull up the VPVR. You guys can see, I'm going to back up even so we get a bigger picture. You guys can see right here, 47,200, somewhere in that region. We are literally sitting right beneath it. So our price action is sitting right here. That level of support's right there. This is actually something that is going to be a little level of resistance. That's I think that's the reason why, those of you who have been watching, why we've gone up to 47,000, then come right back down to 46,000, drop maybe to 45.5, but then gone back up to 46, touch that 47 again. It's because we do have a strong level of resistance, but if we can get through that strong level of resistance, another bullish sentiment for reasons why I think that the price will continue to rise. Going back to my chart, we saw an uptick. I don't even go back to chart on this one. We saw an uptick in volume. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. This wasn't necessarily the greatest thing in the world because a lot of that volume was negative, but we're going to cover a story later where we saw actually 92% of the longs in Bitcoin got liquidated. This is going to be paired with some stories about manipulation. But again, just want to highlight that to you guys. That's some stuff we saw in technicals. Already talked about the Bollinger Bands. And the last one I want to just kind of run you guys over is the Fibonacci retracement. So let's come back here. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my screen just to make this nice and clean. So what I want to do here is we talked about this level right here being Fibonacci retracement for taking the all-time high of 64,000 down to the recent bottom right here of 29 or it's like 28,800 something like that. We actually hit this top on Fibonacci retracement of 0.618. I am not going to tell you the full science. Jeb's talked about the science of Fibonacci all the time. He goes into further detail of that in CD2A. But all I can tell you is this is a metric that we see patterns develop all throughout, not just the crypto trading universe, but we see that in the stock market. It's just a great indicator to help people see where potential tops and bottoms might be of runs. When I did Fibonacci retracement this morning, if I take the bottom right here at the 6th of August, or that's the 5th of August, that's like we saw this recent downtrend right here, starting from, that would be the 1st of August right there. That's the most recent downtrend, all the way up to our most recent top of 52,800. Guess where you see the bottom of that wick? And I'll zoom in to help you guys out. Boom, right at the 0.618 level. Another reason why I think, guys, we do not need to worry about going deeper. I mean, there's always a chance because crypto is unpredictable, but that makes a lot of sense why that wick stopped right there, because that is just with the laws of how trading works, and what Fibonacci retracement helps teach us is that a lot of times we see those patterns continue to develop. We saw it happen from back in May to the all-time bottom to what we're just at. Now we're seeing it happen again over the last couple of weeks. Guys, just another reason why this is not a time to be freaking out. Instead, I think it's actually a time to be filling up our bags. Now that we've covered technical analysis, before we move forward, Greg, what are your thoughts about everything I've just been talking about? I know you've been going to CD2A, you've been learning technical analysis. What are your thoughts, my friend?
I just need to say, wow, Tim, you've gotten so much better at technical analysis, man. I mean, I remember the first time you hosted the show and Jeb was gone for an entire week. He took a vacation. If you're watching right now, put a 1 in chat if you think that Tim has gotten 10 times better at technical analysis. Tim, you're killing it.
Thanks, my friend.
I actually don't have any thoughts there because my heart and my mind are completely surrounding the fundamental analysis of what's going on. I think you're exactly right when you say that it's not just a crash, it's actually a correction. And I think it's more of an orchestrated correction. I think people had a plan for this to happen. We see a candle wick stretch that long. That's not a trickle down correction. That is a whale letting go so that other institutions can get in. And I think it's interesting that it was partnered with the same day. Remember, the 7th of September, we're going to start calling it that. We're seeing El Salvador adopt Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency and us watching an 18% drop in the price. I think that is too orchestrated to say a coincidence.
Well, and the good news is, just so you guys know, that's only the beginning. All that was technical analysis. I know I alluded to some fundamentals and some news articles, but that was just looking at things from a technical standpoint. If you watched Around the Blockchain last night, I know Ben was saying, I don't care about the charts. Well, I think there are certain projects and certain moments where I'm like, okay, I don't think the charts can really give us any insight as to what's happening. In this case, though, I disagree with Ben. I think the charts still are helpful. Are there some question marks that I have and some things that I don't fully understand about the charts? Absolutely. But when you go and look at them, the charts alone show you that this is not some massive bear market we're hitting. This is actually still a part of what we see as a healthy bull run. Now, was it accelerated? Yeah. Absolutely. But as you just said, I do believe there's a whale or whales behind this. And that's one of the reasons why, those of you guys who've been watching the show, I'm a big proponent of Wyckoff accumulation, Wyckoff distribution phases, learning them. I actually did a lot of research about accumulation phase, need to learn more about distribution. But one of the things that Richard Wyckoff teaches when he did this, and he's no longer alive, he taught this back in, I think he started around like the 20s or something, 1920s. But he said we have to treat every single market as if there was one person, one evil entity who is trying to manipulate everything so that we can know what's coming, know to be prepared. And so this concept of a person coming, a person or persons coming out and kind of manipulating the market is it's nothing new. It's nothing that is taking anyone by surprise. What makes you a profitable trader and a profitable investor is if you're prepared and ready for these types of movements and not just like, oh, what the heck, that's not fair. Because whether it's fair or not, it's going to happen. The question is, do we know how to ride out those movements? And here's the thing, is that the good news is it wasn't even all manipulation. While I think manipulation started it, same as like back in May, when you combine manipulation and FUD with a bunch of people in over-leveraged trades getting liquidated, that's why we see such a price fall. That's why we saw it just drop. I know Jeb yesterday was literally shooting that video. Those of you who watched, he said it was like calling a horse race. Like, oh, now we're down to 46,000. No, we're down to 43, 44. Oh, we're back to 45, 44. And I'm like, okay, what the freak is happening right now? That massive downfall was not manipulation anymore. That was one long gets liquidated, so that means the price drops, and then another long, and then another long, and then another long, and so this is a combination of manipulation that started a snowball. And the good news is that with all of our fundamental analysis we've done and we've seen happening, things like money being taken off exchanges, that is what stopped us perfectly at that $43,000 level. Because despite the fact that we had a snowball event that in all reality, I don't know really if anyone was ready for, we had still set up good barriers to stop it from being disastrous. That to me shows a massive sign of support, adoption, and bullish sentiment for Bitcoin and the entire crypto market overall.
Absolutely. And I agree. I just think, it's so interesting. I think when all is said and done and we're looking into the future, we're looking back to today, 10 years from now, I think we're going to see a majority of the institutions holding Bitcoin and retailers being the ones scrabbling for Satoshis.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and dive into some stories. Just so you guys know, those of you who are giving super chats, commenting, if we don't get to respond to all of them, I do apologize. We are down, obviously, with Jeb not being here. I got to sit in his seat, so there's no one sitting in my seat. There's no one copying and pasting super chats. I think Smay says he has a solution that we probably can go back and look at some of those older ones.
I'm trying.
But if we miss anything, we do apologize. Please give us some grace, but we do want to answer all your questions as best we can. You know what? Before I jump into stories, just to be fair, Smay, do you have any super chats we want to cover right now?
Yeah, I can go ahead and do that.
Let's go ahead.
Let's go to full screen. I can do it.
While he's doing that, real quick, for anyone who just joined, Jeb is out today for his planning meeting. He will be back tomorrow. He has an afternoon video coming out today, so this is not the replace Jeb show. This is a fill-in for Jeb show.
All right. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to read these super chats. We have first one here from now I have to be the one reading the names. We have
it's fun, isn't it?
Daniel Verestegui. Sorry, I'm just gonna say Daniel V. Daniel V says, "Great job starting on time. Here is 5 to start the day early. Hit that like if you are invested in Bitcoin. God bless you all.
Yeah.
God bless you too." Next one. Corey says, shout out to the ladder behind Smay.
No, this is actually
That's right.
great. Yeah, no, we
That's
had a comment the other day from our CFO asking why there was a ladder in the background. Smay, why is there a ladder in your background?
Because we're in the process of painting and stuff in here, and also because it represents Bitcoin's price climbing. Exactly. Anyways, we have also from Tony420 Tokibowl says, put in a long at 43,500 at 44 times leverage yesterday. LOL. Best trade I've made so far.
Yeah. Yeah, and the truth is, man, I don't think, I mean, I hope you haven't come out of it just yet. I think there's going to be some good movement here the rest of this week. I do think, we were talking about this earlier, I think it's safe to say, nothing's safe, especially after what we just saw yesterday. I would assume Smay's going to win this week's price predictions, being the lowest in all three. Yeah, Smay predicted this, I guess, is what he's trying to say.
Yep.
But I don't think this was a wipeout where we need to redecide if we're even in a bull market anymore. It was almost like, have you ever seen a spider like building a web and then you kind of knock out some stuff? Yeah. The spider doesn't stop. The spider just, all right, Frank, I gotta start over and keep building the web, and it still works up, and it doesn't sit there and mope, and it doesn't sit there and complain. I think we need to have that same approach. Like, hey guys, like, you know, we were sitting with it almost felt like a comfortable $50,000 support. We don't have it anymore. Well, guess what? Let's just start rebuilding. Let's start working up again. I didn't think we rallied that quickly to 50,000, but maybe we did. Maybe this was a small part of a correction we needed just to be healthy. I know, talking with Kelly this morning, he even kind of pointed out, using that analogy I used the other day of like rock climbing, maybe we just need to come back down to make sure we have that anchor secure right there at that 42.5, which we only hit 43,000, but that anchor secure before we continue our climb just for safety. That's one of the good things that we have to remember is if we can take anything positive away from this, one, the support we have in this community, the adoption, and the level of outflows that we've had recently help save us. But number two is hitting these levels and bouncing where we should gives us strong levels of support that give us a safety net to probably not ever fall to that point again. Now, that's just my take, but Smay, we have any other super chats?
Yes, we do. So we have one from, speaking of Kelly, he says, for those of you caps locking, manipulation. Yes, the market is constantly manipulated. There was a Bitcoin dump somewhere that then only wicked down so far due to market being over leveraged, guys.
Yeah, well, it was. Over leverage was definitely part of it. Again, snowball. Because that's the other thing is this manipulation, they probably know this. They're smart. They probably knew they didn't have to liquidate or sell billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoin. They knew probably, hey, I'm looking at these levels. If I sell this much, I can start a snowball effect to drop us. But I've seen analysts and I've seen people that I'm like, okay, what information are you going off of to make that call? Where they're saying we're going to drop back down into the 30s. They say we're going to drop back down, maybe even the 20s. Obviously, you have your people out there saying we're going to go back down to 10,000 or below. To me, I think that there might have actually been a level. We're going to talk about this here in a little second, so I don't want to answer every single part of this. But I think there were people hoping we would drop even lower, and then we bounced to that 43. And I think that I think whales are learning, hey, while we still have a decent amount of control, we don't have as much control as we actually thought we did.
That's right. And we have a second parter to Kelly's super chat. He says, that led to cascading liquidations. Market strength showed massive indication of underlying bullish sentiment. Market stayed in healthy boundaries.
Yeah. Nope. Absolutely. Can't agree with you more.
All right. And then I think we have one last one.
Yeah.
So this one is 4 by Grace. He says,
come on, I love this guy.
Psalms 37:24, though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him in his hand.
Come on.
Boom.
I love it. All right, guys, let's jump back into, okay, my mouse. I have an older mouse that sometimes disconnects. There we go. Don't go to my screen just yet, Smay.
Yep.
But what I want to talk about right now, we've talked about it already, that 43,000, super close to 42.5. Also, just so you guys know, this is actually an area where I was wrong about being right. Do you remember, guys, a couple of weeks ago where I said we had to do that? We had to go back down to 42.5 for that support. Didn't happen. I was like, okay, I was wrong. My bad, guys. Well, now it's, oh, no, snap, I was right. This another reason why we're just sitting healthily, even back at that super chat that we just saw. This is just a healthy correction. This is actually what we needed. But this price drop was different than May, which followed a lot of FUD. Joey, obviously, those of you who have been in the market for a couple of months now, you guys remember back in the end of April, early May, the massive drop due to news such as Elon Musk and Tesla, paired with China continuing to, again, roll out bans on Bitcoin. That FUD was a great I mean, it was part of it, but I don't even think it was the full picture. I think it was a great cover for more manipulation in the market. Now, whether Elon himself was manipulating it, I don't even want to get into that. Whether China was involved in manipulating it, don't speculate there. The fact is there was manipulation. So whether it was them or whether it was someone piggybacking them, they wanted that price to come down. Why? So that they could get in at a lower price. This is classic teaching by Richard Wyckoff, who teaches that these whales, these institutions, you got to treat them like one entity, and they are always thinking, how can I maximize my investments? If I sell at the top, get it to drop it down low, and I can buy it lower, I can squeeze out and get rid of shaky hands and retail investors, and I get to take up more power. This time, we do not see any of that FUD. We saw some attempts. We saw people trying to blame it on El Salvador. We saw people trying to blame it on a lot of different things, but the truth is there is nothing but bullish sentiment. At this point, I want to tell you guys what I honestly believe is happening right now. If you looked at that tweet from President Bukele yesterday from El Salvador, where he calls out IMF and says pretty much, hey, thank you for dropping the price. That saves me a lot of paperwork. I think Bukele is actually onto something about the concept of what is happening right now with central banks and central systems like the IMF. I talked about yesterday on that TikTok. JP Morgan supposedly a couple days ago sent out a note to all of their investors telling them, hey, crypto's overextended, be weary. And they're pretty much scaring their investors or scaring their customers out of being in crypto. I think that what we are seeing right now is the banks realizing more and more every single day, because they've been realizing it now for a little bit, but they're realizing more and more every single day, man, not only are we screwed when it comes to the way we handle finances because fiat is going down the tubes every single day, it's happening way faster than we ever thought. Like, I don't think anyone in their wildest dreams a couple of months ago thought that there would be a country using Bitcoin as legal tender in September of 2021. It's slipping from them, right? Like every second, it's slipping more and more out of their fingers. And this is another attempt for them to discourage people from getting in. Now, here's the other thing about manipulators coming into the market and why I think I actually am very excited about the concept of them thinking they have to manipulate it. If something does not have value, why do you need to manipulate it? If you look at all these little coins, there's not a lot of whale manipulation in little projects that you've never heard of because they don't see the value in it yet. I truly believe, especially if you're following the teachings of Richard Wyckoff, and this isn't just Richard Wyckoff, I think this is a pretty fundamentally easy concept to get a hold of. If I see value in something and I think I have the power to manipulate it to get the most out of it I can, why wouldn't it? So even these companies like JP Morgan, like IMF, even like these other central banks that have their hands in kind of discouraging people away from crypto, they can discourage people all they want. What they know is that whether they discourage people or not, they're going to get into it. So it's like, hey, let us discourage as many as we can so we can get in as low as possible so that we can get ahead of this thing. Like, they know that they're going to have to go ahead and jump on the train. They're not excited about it, but they're doing everything they can to contain as much power as they possibly could. The good news for us, though, is that no matter how hard they try, they will never, ever, ever be able to completely control Bitcoin, because the whole nature of it, if you look at the history of things that are similar to it, even like gold being the sound hard money that it is, people could try to manipulate it all day long. The good thing about it is solid money, you cannot manipulate and hold too much of it. The laws of economics, when you have good money, is that it gives every single person, rich, poor, in between, the ability to gain back power. The only thing with gold, though, is because it was a physical item, we saw the Romans start to mess with it and start to manipulate it in a way that they could. It was hard, but they tried their best to do it. Then we saw even further when we come into the 20th century, we see whole countries just say, you know what, we're going to go off the gold standard. I know we've been utilizing it for thousands of years, but we're going off the gold standard. And Bitcoin not Bitcoin, sorry. The U.S. one day, I can't remember what year it was. Smay, do you remember if it was the 60s? Maybe you don't know the answer to that.
It was 1971.
No, so America went off the gold standard in 1971, but there was a point in, I don't know, it was like the 30s or the 40s where they didn't go off of it. We stayed on the gold standard.
Oh, yeah,
but they
yeah.
just
No,
overnight
it was
decided to change the price.
Yeah, it was during the Great Depression, right?
Yeah.
Where they banned people cashing in dollars for gold, right?
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. Is gold as good as it was? And I still think gold, and when we're talking about investing, I still think if you invest in gold, good for you. This is a great asset to hold. But there was one flaw, is that there was an opportunity for someone to manipulate the price and to change it. Like overnight, we just decided, I don't know the exact numbers, but let's just pretend, instead of gold being $32 an ounce, it's now $15 an ounce. You can't do that with Bitcoin. No one can just overnight decide I want the price to change. Now, you can manipulate it by selling and then causing people to get liquidated out of their trades, and that's a tactic people are using, but you cannot directly affect the price yourself and just decide overnight. And the truth is, as soon as that price crashes, what I think I saw yesterday, I think Whale's gotten in on it too, but how many retail investors saw that dip and bought in? When we see that type of knowledge and that type of excitement from retail investors, that's when I think the whales are seeing the writing on the wall. Oh my gosh, we've let a genie out of the bottle. We cannot contain it. Our best bet is just to try to ride along with it, contain power as long as possible. But there will be a day, there will be a time that their power will be gone. And that's another reason why, again, when we hear these words manipulation, we hear these things, don't be happy about it. Don't be like, oh, I'm glad we're being manipulated, but understand it's actually like one of the sincerest forms of flattery to manipulate Bitcoin because they see how valuable it really is. As we talked about on the show several times, you got to kind of almost be like one of those sucker fish that instead of fighting the whale, instead of like asking, why is the whale so big? Why does the whale get to do whatever it wants to do? Ride the whale until you grow larger and you can go off on your own. So moving forward. Gosh, my mouse keeps disconnecting. This is a great day. I need to get a new mouse, May. Can you put that on the budget? No. Gosh. I don't have that much power. Here we go. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, but one of the things we talked about, and we'll go and read an article showing this, but what we saw was paired with that manipulation, 92% of all crypto longs liquidated yesterday as we fell to 40,000. So, Smay, if you want to go to my screen, we'll read this article really quickly. We're not going to read the whole thing, just to give you guys an update on what's happening there so you guys are informed. If you guys want to read this article for yourself, it is from the Crypto Slate. Again, that's the title right there. But scrolling down to where I thought was really important. Yesterday's purge, unsurprisingly, meant $3.42 billion worth of longs alone were liquidated, accounting for over 92% of all crypto futures positions. So pause right there. 92%. Can I tell you guys right now how excited I am for that number? And the reason why is because if 92% of those longs were liquidated and we only dropped 18%, how strong is the hodl mentality of Bitcoin holders? Like, that to me is a massively bullish sign, but I want to continue. Of those, DGen platform Bybit took a $1.3 billion worth of liquidations alone. It was followed by, now this one I've never actually pronounced. So Hubai, I'm going to go with it, 836 million. Binance, 795 million. OKX, 400 million. Probably pronounced that one wrong too. And Deribit at 115 million. Overall, $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin positions were liquidated. 928 million worth of Ethereum positions were liquidated. And 223 million worth of XRP positions were liquidated. These were followed by Solana, Cardano, Dogecoin, which each saw 98 million, 84 million, and 80 million worth of liquidations, respectively, as data from on-chain analytics tool Bybit shows. So I'm going to pause right there. Go ahead and go out. You can go back to full screen here, Smay. Wrapping all that up, I'm actually, again, super excited that 92% were liquidated. And I want to stop right there and say, hey, for any of you who fell into that 92%, I'm deeply apologetic. You know, you probably lost a lot of money. I do, though, stay excited about Bitcoin overall because of that, because of the implications of that. I hope that you didn't get so scared just because of that one loss that you never want to enter it again. I think it's one of those things, just like that spider I was talking about earlier. Hey, you can't control that your web got cut. It happened and it sucks. But if you just keep building, it'll come back and it'll come back stronger. What are your thoughts on all of that, Greg?
You know, I think this is why it's important to teach psychology in trading, teach psychology in the crypto market, because a lot of people get scared out of their positions, and you need a couple of rotations in the crypto market to really experience what it means to see higher lows. And for any of you out there that, you know, that lost your money, I want to encourage you. You're paying for an experience, you know, and sometimes it costs more than you would want it to, but I do see, even in my last year of being in cryptocurrency, the ups and the downs, learning how to trade short term, learning how to hodl and have an investment portfolio, which, by the way, I learned through CT2A. It was so helpful to recognize that I didn't need to use my investment portfolio also as my trading portfolio. It was very, I realized I was doing that wrong, and CT2 helped me out. CT2A helped me out. So shout out to CT2A. By the way, if you've taken CT2A, go ahead and put a 2 in chat. I'd like to see who's taken that, who's had a good experience with it. But yeah, again, Tim, this is why time in the market is better than timing in the market. And it's proven to be true every single time for people who've hodled.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is just another thing to remember. If you had gone back 2 months ago and told us that we just dipped to 43,000, you would have been like, dipped? We can't get to 43,000 right now. So for anyone who's new, be consoled that even this dip, this is just the beginning of, again, a massive uptrend, a bull run that includes corrections. Real quick, Smay, if you want to go back to my chart, let's look real quick just for you guys who were here. Go back to this movement right here in, let's see, this was back in January. Okay, look at this bull run overall, where I'm going to just even show you guys the price action. We'll start right here, the 4th of September, so about a year ago, all the way up to the top right there of 64,000, a 561% increase. Look at this. I'm going to get rid of that. Look at this massive movement, but then look at this dip right here. There were people, not a lot necessarily, but there were people questioning if we were over right here in January. I think the same kind of sentiment, let me actually, just to back up my point, let me show you guys. We didn't dip as fast as what we just dipped, but we dipped 30%. 30%. We are freaking out over dipping 18% and saying we crashed when literally not even a year ago, we had a 30% correction that continued after that correction. Oh, nope, hit the wrong one. There we go. That continued to rally. Oh, I did not get that full screen. All the way up another 120%. This is something I'm, generally speaking, I'm a noob, guys. Like, I've only been involved in crypto for a little over a year. But just because I'm a noob does not mean that I can't go back and do my research. Same thing for you. If you're out there saying, man, I'm a noob, I'm new to crypto, I haven't been here. There are people in this chat that have been watching this literally since 2012. There are people that have been with Jeb's channel since its foundation back in 2017. The market is going to do what it wants to do, whether you're a noob or you're experienced. The best thing you do is continue to educate yourself and look at these trends. So I can comfort someone who's maybe only been in the market for about 3 months. Someone who's been in the market, like I know Kelly, Jeb, some of these other people that I've gotten to spend time with, they've been in the market for years. So whenever I freak out, because I have my moments where I'm looking at things and I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck is happening? They're like, hey, Tim, it's okay. Like, this is all part of the, like, this happens all the time. So whenever you have that freak out moment, oh no, Bitcoin is crashing, it's good to A, zoom out. So, Smet, you can actually go off my chart now. It's good to A, zoom out, and B, go find somebody who's ridden a couple of those waves and ask them their advice. Because there is a time to freak out. There are times where it's like, hey, that movement was bad. Don't get me wrong. There's been several times in my journey of learning crypto and learning technical analysis that I've gone to Jeb and been like, Jeb, this looks terrible. And he's like, well, actually, Tim, it's really not that bad. Let's go back and look at 2017. Let's go back and look at 2018. Let's look what happened in this price action. But there are still times where I'm like, oh, no, this looks bad. He's like, no, yeah, that one's bad. Like that one's bad. We probably shouldn't be entering any trades or any new investments anytime soon. But that's the whole thing, is that you can't just go with the first feeling that sneaks into your gut. Feeling is good. A lot of times feelings can help a lot, but if it's the only thing you're relying on, you're going to find yourself FOMOing in and FUDing out of building your portfolio to become everything you could be financially. No, the last thing, okay, so before we move on, because we're going to talk Cardano, we have Greg here today. Greg, for you guys who don't know, massive Cardano fan, has probably done more research on Cardano than me and Jeb combined, because I think he literally spends every second of his day breathing, living, ingesting Cardano. But the last thing that I want to talk about, and this isn't new, or this isn't breaking, and I probably won't even go to the article, so don't even worry about going to my full screen, Smay. The McDonald's adoption that happened in El Salvador. On the surface, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, okay, cool story. It's just another part of El Salvador news. But talking with Kelly this morning, or Charismatic in chat, we were talking back and forth about what was really important, and he made an excellent point. So I want to make sure to give him credit for this thought, not myself, not Jeb, not Smay. This was Kelly. Kelly was saying, hey, this is actually a really fascinating story, and here is the reason why. Yes, for right now, it is only El Salvador that McDonald's is doing this. However, this will serve as the training grounds for a company that is McDonald's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's one of the largest. It's like a top 10 company in the world.
No, yeah, like McDonald's has locations in almost every country.
It's all over the world. So whether it's the top 10 or not, it is a massive company. They will be learning and practicing and looking at how to handle and process Bitcoin transactions that will teach the industry how to do it all over the world. So I don't think this is as simple as just saying, oh, that's cool. McDonald's is in El Salvador accepting Bitcoin. I think this is oh my gosh, this could be the beginning of massive corporations actually working out the details with Bitcoin, with the Lightning Network, to transact and utilize Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as currency. So hats off to Kelly. Great pickup, great a great thought that actually this news is way bigger than most people are giving it credit for. Look back at this, we're going to look back at September 7th, 2021 as the day that El Salvador became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, the day we saw a massive crash for what kind of looked like no reason, and the day that McDonald's jumped into Bitcoin adoption. Those three stories are all going to be massive in the history book. So yeah, write that down in your journal. September 7th, it's a day to remember. So
yeah,
that's all I have Bitcoin. Hopefully that helps you guys out. If you guys were freaking out, if you guys came in this morning being like, oh my gosh, Jeb, because you guys thought Jeb was gonna be here. Jeb, please help me. I'm contemplating getting out of Bitcoin altogether. Please don't. This is the beginning of something super special, super awesome. Nothing has changed. So those predictions of 100,000, maybe even pushing up to 150,000, nothing has changed. This is all a part of that plan. Did it happen a little quicker, that correction, than we thought? Maybe, but it's all still part of the plan. Nothing has changed. So let's go ahead and dive into what Greg is super excited about, and that is Cardano. But I do want to start with the fact that Charles Hoskinson and his team have come out to kind of kerfuffle. They got rid of the fears. They addressed all the fears and the FUD that's being spread about Cardano, because that was one of our thoughts. We saw that massive crash a couple days ago. When not crash? I want to be clear. That was not a crash. When we saw that correction on Cardano, Greg, you'll be better with this timeline. Was that not literally right after we saw a failed testnet on Cardano?
Yeah, we saw a failed testnet, and we got 10%, I think a 10% drop when that happened, which is so crazy to me that we are getting drops in the price based on testing. What is the point of testing? The point of testing is to test it, to make sure we cross our T's and we dot our I's. Why are people getting so worked up about a test not running perfectly? What's the point of it? Sorry. I just ate again. You know how I feel.
No, honestly,
people are selling based off of a test.
Yeah, no, and I was weird. I was talking to Tim in the car on the way here, and one of the things we were talking about was I was basically saying, a lot of people don't realize that these developers are also not infallible. Developers, just like with anything else. I don't know if you're into video games or whatever. Everyone knows that crappy stuff happens if you're a developer, right? So to assume that these crypto developers are just gonna get it perfect every single time. Every single time they put something on a test, every time they run a test, that's going to be perfect every single time. No, there's going to be times where things don't work the way they're supposed to work, and then they have to patch it and they have to fix it. That's what development looks like. So that's why I think there's false narrative that they're infallible and they can't do any wrong, especially with the investment.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptocurrency has a problem. And the problem with cryptocurrency is that they put out projects and they start to work on them as they're being used, right? Instead of being developed and scaled before they're actually becoming things that are actualized. And I think that is the reason I am so bullish on Cardano. I am so bullish on the scalability of it, because it's not something, starting September 12th it will be, but it has been something that's only been speculative because the development team has decided, you know what? Instead of just putting out a currency and allowing this project to be something that's used and upgraded at Ethereum, which I'm not an Ethereum hater, I'm just saying, We've watched these currencies put out technology and projects that are being built upon as they're being used. And I think you get into a lot of issues, and I think you don't have as much reputability in the price. You don't have as much, you really don't have stability in price because you're not working on something that's been scaled the correct way. Which, Tim, I don't know if I'm allowed to go into this, but I think there's a lot of viewers here who are watching for the first time, and they have no idea what ADA is all about. What is Cardano? And I just want to put it out there. So for those of you that are interested in learning more about, the background, the fundamentals of Cardano, it's a cryptocurrency that aims to use blockchain technology to solve real world problems. For example, Cardano's partnered with Ethiopian governments to track educational progress of 5 million students in a network. And the project will actually give students the ability to show tamper-proof academic records that will help them get jobs, that will allow them to study abroad. And so smart contracts that are coming out on the 12th, which, by the way, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Smart contracts are here, and it is going to be a big step that will let Cardano compete with other programmable blockchains and dramatically expand the potential solution that it's actually offering to its partners. And the reason it's so important that smart contracts be a part of blockchain as a solution is because well, first of all, those of you who are watching who don't know what a smart contract is, they're tiny pieces of code that live on the blockchain, right? And they're game changers. Without them, the blockchain database is just a sophisticated ledger that can record and track transactions and data. But with smart contracts, the blockchain becomes a programmable platform that can host other applications. And so Cardano's Alonzo upgrade, it includes its own smart contract development, and its language is called Plutus. All right. And Cardano wants people who don't necessarily have technical backgrounds to be able to create these smart contracts. And there's 3 things that the smart contracts are going to be able to do. They're going to be able to do decentralized finance applications, which is basically an umbrella for financial applications to work without intermediaries. So like banks and lawyers, right, getting a piece of the pie when transactions are being made between a house, between a deed. The middlemen get rejected when smart contracts are in play. And so it's actually going to be less expensive in the future for users to use this decentralized finance application. The other thing is non-fundable tokens, okay, NFTs. These require digital assets that are often collectibles like sports cards. And some of you in here are like, oh man, I love NFTs. NFTs are the future. I really do believe NFTs are going to be basically symbols that we use within smart contracts to show the proof. It's like a signature. An NFT is going to be a signature to a smart contract that we end up using to own an asset. And last but not least, gaming applications. Players can own in-game assets through NFTs, and smart contracts can also change the way gaming economies are going to work. And I could go deeper into that, but long story short, we've seen a lot of FUD, Tim, a lot of FUD around Cardano, and I believe it's just because people want to get in. I think that's it, and also they don't want to share the market cap, right? They don't want to share the market cap with other currencies, and so this is all a part of the smoke screens that we need to get past in order to get past the seed that is Cardano now, which I believe is going to become a force that feeds the world, not just to people who are invested, but to people who need real life solutions to their problems.
Well, no, and just even back that up, that was one of the things I was reading yesterday about JP Morgan. JP, like I said, they wrote a note to their investors, their customers, pretty much saying, hey guys, these projects in cryptocurrency are way, way, way overbought. The prices are bloated. They don't deliver what they're actually saying. I'm like, this is just kind of crazy. You know, there was a story this morning about the SEC and Coinbase. For those of you who saw that, we're not going to go deep into that. We'll probably talk about that a little bit more tomorrow because, again, nothing's going to really change on that about today. But there is this problem that I have with the SEC and with politics in general. You know, we see the U.S. government and other governments kind of talking about and debating having regulations on crypto, and the truth is they don't even know what they're talking about. Talking with Kelly this morning, Kelly made a great analogy. He was like, this is like a snowboarder going and judging figure skating because they think because they've dabbled in the financial world that they understand the ins and outs, the ups and downs of crypto. But he was talking about it. He's like, you know, honestly, Tim, I'm not a big Ted Cruz fan, but I was a big fan of something Ted Cruz said in one of the debates where he literally stood up and said, hey guys, in this entire Senate, there's probably not even 3 or 4 of us, or maybe it's 4 or 5 of us, that even understand what we're talking about. How are we sitting here creating laws for something we don't even understand what's happening? Like, how many people who get to make these big decisions absolutely have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to crypto? I think it's the same thing in the banking world. How many of these banks are giving people financial advice because they have their credentials to give people US dollar advice and Chinese yuan advice and giving British pound, but do they have any credentials to be giving people crypto advice? I don't think they do. And that's not to say, I'm sure that they probably know as much, if not more than me, but I don't think that I'm the type of person. We say this all the time. Please do not just make trades based off of my advice. Do your own research. Hopefully I help lead you, and Jeb helps lead you, and even other YouTubers. Hopefully they help lead you to understand for yourself the fullness and the greatness of crypto. But for sure, SEC, how many times have we seen Gary Gensler come out? And there's times where I think he's a little bit pro crypto and but he's even kind of alluded to, I need to do more research. I don't fully know what I'm doing. And now he's out here trying to say that what Coinbase is doing is another security. And it's just absolutely crazy that we are continuing to deal with all these regulation talks from people who have no idea what is even happening.
Well, it's not just the regulators, but it's actually the holders within cryptocurrency. I mean, you can see this in the way the price fluctuates, Tim. I mean, why would there be a 10% drop in a coin like Cardano when it's being used on the testnet?
Yeah.
Why would that happen? It would only happen if people didn't understand, right, what the language of the currency was doing and what it was trying to develop.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we'll end up seeing. But what's really encouraging with that 92% that are being liquidated, but that we've got an incredible amount of hodlers now with Bitcoin, that has come with 13 years of an existence, right? And so now Bitcoin holders are more mature. They've seen the price fluctuate, but they recognize the trajectory and they recognize its usage and the adoption stages that we're going to be going through. And so I think alongside of Bitcoin, Papa Bitcoin is going to lead the way. These other currencies, as people become more literate in what cryptocurrency is, are going to learn to read past these negative narratives, this FUD that comes out. And I think personally what we're doing is we're maturing in what we understand about what these currencies are trying to accomplish. So I got nothing more to say but than that.
Yeah, no, Greg, that was all like super great. Just so you guys know, I got a message from our CMO, our Chief Marketing Officer. There is something special happening on our Twitter. So he told me not to tell you what it was, but to go look at our Twitter, and I think it's up right now. But the Twitter is at CryptoJeb. Is it the CryptoJeb or just CryptoJeb?
At CryptoJeb.
Just at CryptoJeb. Go check out on Twitter. I think there's a giveaway of some kind happening over there. But again, he told me not to give you guys the full details.
Well, why would you just say that?
He told me I was allowed to say that. He just said, yeah. We're good. We're good. But anyway, guys, wrapping as we go to kind of wrap out this stream, there was something I got permission from my wife before the show. So just so anyone who know that I'm married, know that I have a wife, I am a big proponent of never doing anything as a husband without the wife's approval and knowledge. So I wanted to wrap out this stream by just kind of taking everything we've talked about. Bitcoin, Cardano, we talked about the FUD, we talked about manipulation, price movement, addressing fears and concerns that people might have about getting involved. Here is the thing. I want to put my money where my mouth is. Said that wrong. And what I'm going to do is actually live. It is yesterday. Live, I'm going to be purchasing today, just for you guys, $1,000 worth of crypto. And before you guys are like, okay, Tim, that's really not that much, I want to tell you guys why that's actually really significant and what we're about here at McAfee Media, which is the overarching company, and then specifically CryptoJeb as we move forward. Here's the thing. I'm not a millionaire, guys. The way Jeb's a millionaire, Ben's a millionaire. I think the altcoin brothers, all these big YouTubers, a lot of them, they've been in the game for a while. They're millionaires. Greg, are you a millionaire yet? I know you're close.
I am not.
Yeah.
I am not.
No, here's the thing, guys. I'm not. I'm not a millionaire. I'm growing though. And if you had told me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Tim, you would invest $1,000 into crypto? I would have told you guys, what the heck? Like, I only think I have $1,000 in my bank account. And here's the deal about that. I want to tell you guys a little bit of my story. Why am I here? Why am I sitting in front of the camera right now talking to you guys at all? I grew up in a homeschool Christian family. So those of you who don't know, usually when you're homeschooled, that means you only have a one-income household. And here's the thing. My dad, I love him so much, had a great job. He was an architect. But we found out later, we knew he struggled with smoking when we were younger. Didn't know to the full degree. I kind of found out later as an adult, my dad's addiction to cigarettes was way more detrimental than we thought. He had a great job as an architect. However, to support a 7-person family, because I have 5 siblings, a single income household while managing a expensive addiction, there really actually isn't that much money left for the family. Now, I'm not complaining. I always had a roof over my head, always had clothes. But what happened in 2008 was my dad lost his job, and I was sitting there at 14 years old, and I was told by my parents, Tim, we are so sorry. I know, you're coming up and getting close to that time where you might be getting a cell phone soon, you might be getting a car soon. If you're going to do any of those things, you got to do it yourself. We do not have any money to do that. I have 2 older siblings. They both had cell phones bought for them. They both had their cars paid for. They paid for their insurance, everything else. But I was told, hey, Tim, if you want any of these things, you got to pay for it yourself. Tim, any sport you want to play, you got to pay for it yourself. So the good news about being homeschooled is you can do school very quickly, right? I have had a full-time job or the equivalency of ever since I was 14 years old, and it was to provide for myself. I started off doing lawn care the rest of my high school years. So doing school every morning, going and working lawn care for about 30 hours a week, and then I would go to practices, football practice, basketball practice, soccer practice. I would go to practice, paid for my own way into all those sports. So I learned from a very young age to work hard. That being said, I only was making probably about $750 an hour from all those jobs. Then the summer before I started college, I took 2 different jobs. What I would do is I would wake up every single morning at 4 o'clock because I still had a dream of walking on and playing football at the University of Florida. I woke up every single morning at 4 to get my workout in so that I would show up to my first job at 7 a.m. to work lawn care there. I would go home for lunch for 30 minutes and go to my second job where I would work from 1 to 9 o'clock every night. I did that 6 days a week, making I think after the biggest promotion I got from either one of those jobs, I was making $8 an hour. Then in the fall, I took a full 15 credit hours of college while working 40 hours a week at a job. The point that I'm trying to make here is I have had an array of jobs. I've worked at a gun range. I've worked as a trainer at a gym. I've worked at someone who worked a front desk. I've done ministry. I have known my entire life what the meaning of hard work is. And yet, that doesn't guarantee you a life of financial freedom. The truth is, I actually, in all reality, guys, I am still in my own mind working myself to financial freedom. I think the freedom that I have now compared to last year is astronomically huge, but I'm still growing in that route. But here is the thing. The only reason why I'm sitting before you today, the only reason why I have the job I have here today, the only reason why any of this is happening and why I'm about to live buy $1,000 worth of crypto is because 1 year ago, talking to Jeb, he convinced me, hey, Tim, if you want to get real about your finances, if you want that financial freedom that I see you busting your butt and working so hard for, this idea of Bitcoin, this idea of crypto is the freedom that this world has been looking for financially for a while. I don't know if any of you are in that same shoe. I know there's probably people out there that are millionaires yourself. I'm super happy for you. I'm talking right now to those other people just like me who work ridiculous hours, working upwards of 60, 70 hours a week, and it seems like nothing you do can get ahead. 1 year ago today, I took mine and my wife's, what is it called? The stimulus checks, and then a little money that I had left in savings, which all of it combined made about $5,000. I put $5,000 into Bitcoin when it was sitting at about just under $11,000 a coin. So I own, after all this stuff, darn near close to about 0.42 Bitcoin after that purchase. I've acquired more since then, but at that point, I had about 0.42 Bitcoin. That is sitting right now, I think, right below $20,000 worth of value. I want to continue to grow that, but that is something I would have never dreamed. You asked me 3 years ago, Tim, how are you going to get $20,000 in the bank? I'm like, freak, it's probably going to have to be some way with football. I'm probably going to have to get some job in coaching, something like that. When that door closed on me, when football closed on me, I was kind of like, okay, this is it, my life. I'm going to be working my butt off for the rest of my life. And crypto has changed the game. That is what we are trying to do. If you guys have all heard Jeb's story, you know where Jeb comes from. This crypto teaching is not just something we're doing for fun. This is life-changing. Yeah. The ability to read technical analysis, the ability to understand what's happening in this financial world, the freedom that we will get, that I am getting right now, that Jeb has gotten for himself, that Greg is getting, that Smay is getting, that every one of you who are listening and making trades and making investments, the freedom that you are gaining every single day is life-changing. And that's another reason why, man, we have to dig deep into our research. We have to dig deep. This can't be something that we take lightly. But I can tell you right now, the time to research, if you're sitting here thinking about your time and your value and what you need to do, continue to work. If you need to work, we have a job here. Like, I don't just just do the show with Jeb. Smay throughout the day is editing videos. Me throughout the day, I'm helping run the company. I'm the COO here, making business plans, trying to build this company day in, day out. But I make sure to carve out that time to study technical analysis, to study fundamental analysis, to learn more and more every day. And I have a long way to go. But when I tell you guys right now, can I tell you the fact that I'm about to invest $1,000 in crypto? That is nothing short of a miracle and the signs of financial freedom. So I just want you guys to know, this is not something I'm not just up here saying, guys, invest and not do anything about it. Like, this is something that I want you guys to witness my journey as I go. You guys saw me back in January, my inexperience, my lack of knowledge. I'm not saying I'm perfect now, but look at how far I've come, and I cannot wait to see how far I go, and I want to see you guys go to that same level. That's why Jeb created things like CT2A. That's why we want to continue to build out courses and teach you guys crypto, because it's not just making money for us. It's financial freedom for the entire world. So I got my Coinbase account right here. We got buy. Right here we got, I'm going to start with Cardano. Where we got Cardano? Can they see my, when I flip it around, will they be able to see it? I hope.
Yeah, you can try.
Man, why the heck it's taking me forever to find Cardano on Coinbase. Why is it not like one of the top ones?
Towards the bottom.
I'm just gonna type it. There we go. There we go. Why is it towards the bottom?
I don't think it's in market cap order. I think it's.
There we go.
Might be alphabetical.
333 Cardano. Buy now. 136 Cardano 0.5. That's gonna be worth a lot of money here in a little bit. Yay. Come on now. Load for me. There we go. All right. Go back to account. Transfer. Buy. Ethereum. Try again. We're having connection issues. Come on now. Come on, Coinbase. Not a good ad for Coinbase right now. You've got to be kidding me. It's not letting me connect. Let me turn my Wi-Fi off. Guys, if I don't do this live, I'll have to screenshot it to you guys because it's not letting me connect. Boom, boom. All right, guys, I'm sorry. My phone is not connecting. So the technical difficulties continue here at my phone.
Yeah, you guys thought we were going to go whole stream without any technical difficulties? Come on.
The good news is it's not on the computers. I will say my Wi-Fi on my computer went out, but the good news is you're plugged in.
Yeah.
I think something is happening right now to our internet.
Oh, no.
But, guys, I'm gonna send a story. I'll do something to show you guys. I just wanted you guys to know the reason I did that. Again, it's not a flex. $1,000 really isn't that much money. It's only significant if you know where I come from, and every single one of you are in the same boat. Just because you see people making millions of dollars in trades every single day, don't feel like, oh well, I'll never get ahead. Just because you can only trade with $50 versus other people are trading with tens of thousands, if not millions. Don't get discouraged. Start where you are right now and watch your growth. Here in a year, I'm going to be making investments in trades in the at least six digit count. Someday I'll be making millions, and it's taking one step at a time. And the truth is, guys, I'm not doing that because I want to make money. I'm doing this because I want freedom to do the things that God put me here on this earth to do, to encourage and to love on and to help grow people in what they're meant and made to do. If that is something that you guys love, first of all, hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscription button. And third, stay with this channel. Continue to come back in. Support by your views every single day, by your like button. It's free. Subscribe, it's free. Tell it to your friends. We are building a community here at Crypto Jeb that will last past our lifetime and build something for the future generations that will continue to promote freedom and promote growth. Guys, that is all I have for today. We're going to wrap it out. Jeb will be back tomorrow. There's a video coming out this afternoon, but I hope you guys enjoyed this every single month. I look forward now to being the host of this Wednesday show. With all that said, I will see you guys tomorrow when I'm back in that seat. See you guys. Peace.